Hello all my friends, it's Pam from GlamJunkJournals. Thank you for being here with me today. Today I'd like to do a flip through of my two journals that I just completed. This is Layla and this is Lily. I've been working on these journals for probably 3 weeks to a month, and I am so pleased with how they came together. Each of these journals measures 6 by 9.5, and they both have a 2.5-inch spine and 2 signatures. And even though they look very similar, each of them has some unique and really interesting elements that I encourage you to watch the full flip through on both of these today, because even though I tried to make them similar, and you know, that's just almost impossible. The ephemera is a little bit different, and just how it came together. So that's really fun, and I love how they came together. So first off, let's go through Lily. I will move Layla out of the way. And let me move her out of the way. Hold on just a second here. So let's see. This is Lily, excuse me. Lily has 58 pages, and she is tied, as is the other journal, with my wrapped journal topper that I have a tutorial on. And I will link all the tutorials I mention in the description box if you'd like to go create some of the things that were used to put this journal together. I have clipped on the top this vintage earring. I just love these earrings. I think they're just so fabulous, and added a little tag onto the top that has been embossed. And let me go through this. Like I said, this is tied with my wrapped journal topper. So let me get this out of the way here. And on the back, I did add a little bit of journaling space onto the back side of the journal topper. And that holds 2 tags that I've created. And in addition to linking Amity Bloom's beautiful Leila digital kit, I will put a listing of all of the other digitals that I've used in this kit. This gorgeous digital, I will link where I got that. I just think that's fabulous, that large journaling tag and a vintage postcard here. And I love the purple sparkles. Isn't that wonderful? So what I did on the cover is I followed my tutorial that was part of my ephemera and color challenge that I did. It was probably a couple years ago. So this is a soft cover journal, and it is made from some tapestry, and I added 3 strips of coordinating and contrasting fabric. This is kind of a, I don't know what you want to call it. It's kind of a silky satin type of fabric. This is a gorgeous tapestry, and this is velvet, and it goes all the way along the side. And then I did add some beautiful purple sparkly sari ribbon on that. Let me move this over here. And on the interior of this cover, this is the ruched interior that I did do in that one particular video, and I will link that, where I used, what did I do? I challenged myself to make a journal out of neutrals, and this was part of the journal cover, so I'll link that tutorial there. I've got a side pocket here with a postcard, and in this journal, or actually both of these journals, I really had a lot of fun with tabs, and I have a tutorial on some fun ways to use tabs. So really, I took liberty with that and I added a bunch of tabs, and I absolutely love how it came together. So I've got a tab there, some embellishment on the side, a gorgeous tag here, and an embellished postcard with some more tabs. Love that. So that fits there. And we open up here to a belly band and 2 tags that I created. This is embossed, and it's got some silver, I forgot what this is, gilding polish on the top of that. So that fits in there, and just a little bit of embellishment on this beautiful collage tag, and that is from Layla, that beautiful kit. I love it. This is some music that I did copy a digital from the Graphics Fairy on that. So I love the purple flowers, and I added some polka dotted fabric. I like the black and white. It kind of gives it a pop, but it's still a neutral. So I've used black and white in both of the journals, and I just love the way it adds a little bit of extra interest. So I, did a little bit on the side there and created a fold up on this side right there. And this is a wallpaper book. That's what I'm calling it. It's tied together with some twine. And I've got a little hinge on the side there, and that is the same fabric that's used on the cover. Got a tuck on the side for some fun ephemera there, and some little bits and offcuts and things like that. I've got some lace, and these are some of the papers that are used in this journal. And of course, another postcard with a tab. I just love that. So that all fits back in there. And then on this side, I clipped on with this cutest little clip right here. Oh, little clothespin there. This gorgeous, it's kind of a, I don't know what the fabric is, but it's so transparent here. I just don't remember what the fabric is, but I knew since it was purple, I had to include that. And there is one of the tabs that we added on, and that is from Leila, that gorgeous sentiment. And then on a lot of the pages, I did do some stenciling, and they're sprayed with some sparkle silver spray on that. And then on some of the pages, as you can see up here, I did do some silver foil, and this is from Leila also, that little bit right there. Got a fold down right there with another tab, and a cute little calling card. No, this is a vintage advertising card, and that fits right up in there. And this is from my Dear Audrey autograph book. So that is an autograph from Audrey's autograph book. I love that. And of course, you guys know the cutest baby ever. Not saying that all babies aren't the cutest, but this photo album is just, this little girl is adorable. I just have to include her whenever I can, and I'll will be sad when I've used up the whole photo album, but I absolutely love that. And just a little embellished paper clip on the top with some polka dotted tulle and a button and a letter. And look at how small that is. How can anybody read that? I don't know, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So that's clipped right there. We've got some vintage ephemera right there. That is a ledger page, and this beautiful sheer fabric. I think that's kind of a muslin. It looks absolutely beautiful. And then there is some more stenciling and some more silver foil. And then on this side, I've got a little, this is some handmade paper, and I created a little, I think you would call this a tag, and this is some vellum that creates a tuck spot, and I was inspired by my friend JMH, as she likes to be known, and she made something very similar to this, and I just was inspired by that, and so I created my own here, and you'll see the other one in the other journal. And then on this side, a little fold out there, and that all fits right back in there. Beautiful image from the kit. And then on this side, I have an embellished, just embellished with a little bead dangle there, and that holds a journaling card here that has some ribbon along the bottom, and this is also from the Graphics Fairy. I love that. And so that clips right back on there, and in addition, it holds another calling card and a library index card. Isn't that, do you guys remember having to look up all of the books in the library with these index cards and then go find them based on where it's at? I just think that that is so cool. And I tied it up with some silver thread and added a little bit of embellishment on the side. So all that's going to fit right back in there. And I've got a vintage ledger that folds out like so. I just love their writing. It's just fabulous. And here's another one of the tabs that we created. And we put some embellishments on the bottom. And that is a gorgeous image from the digital kit Leila. And I just did a little bit of collaging on the bottom. And then on this side, I have a binder clip that I just added a little bit of ribbon and some more of that silver thread. And I created this large journaling card, and I added some sparkle tulle and this gorgeous, it's kind of an applique, and then underneath that I added some crinkle sari ribbon in this beautiful lavender color. Isn't that pretty? Oh, love that. Oh, and this on the back, this is also from the Graphics Fairy. I just love the faint image of the florals, and it's got kind of a purple tint, and it just fits fabulous in this journal. So there's the large journaling card, and behind that, some vintage French ephemera. I did also do some modeling paste on some of the pages here. I just love that. And on that other side, the paper or the binder clip held this in also. This is an altered mini file folder, and this beautiful image, I will link the where I got that image to. I don't recall off the top of my head. And then I did do some silver foil around the edge. I just love that. Oh, love how that turned out. And then there's the other side of that muslin. And then on this page here, this beautiful image, this digital, this page is from Leila. That's what I was trying to say there. And this is from one of my tutorials. That is, what did I call that? This is my tag and ephemera holder. And I added some beautiful embellishments along the side there, and this gorgeous trim. Isn't that pretty? Oh, and it holds an advertising card on the interior of that. And then there's another tab and a fold out here. And I also did some not heat embossing. Yeah, it's heat embossing right there with some silver. I don't know if you can see it, that pattern right along there. And along the bottom here, this is a collaged envelope, and I've tied it up with some tulle, and it does have the actual letter on the interior, so that all fits back there. Just a little bit of fabric that has been sewn onto the side there. And a lot of the pages have been sewn around the edges with a silver ribbon in a decorative stitch. And then along the top there, let me move this. This is a vintage birthday card. And I just added this beautiful piece of, that is also like a muslin over the top. And then there's some journaling space on the back. So that fits over the top of that page. And then this is from a book, and it's called The Youth's Companion. It's from the late 1800s, and I just added a little bit of embellishment, and that fits right along the side there under that piece. And then on this side here, this is one of my easiest envelopes ever, and I have a tutorial, I'll link that, and it's tied together with this beautiful purple ribbon, and there is a large card there with another tab. I love that, and that was also inspired by my friend JMH. She's just absolutely fabulous, and she creates the most wonderful things, so I have to say thank you very much. And so all that fits right back in there, and of course you know me, I have to add all sorts of little pops of sparkle, and so I added an applique and some lace underneath that. And then there's the other side of that beautiful graphic from the Graphics Fairy. And then on this side, I've got a little fold out right there. Isn't that image beautiful? This is a thicker piece of cardstock, and I like that the heftiness of that because it really holds things together well, and I added some silver brackets on each of those and some vintage ephemera on the interior of that. So that was the first signature. The second signature here on the border or on the exterior, that is a beautiful doily, and you'll see the other half at the back of the journal. The reason it is not folded directly in the center is because I wanted this image to show. And there is another beautiful image from Leila, and I'd added some collaging on the top and did a little snippet roll along the bottom there. Got a fold out here that I added some beautiful lace on the side there, and that holds a postcard and a piece of catalog, a French fashion catalog, and I just think that that's just so cool. I had to include that. And there is another one of the tabs that we added in my tutorial, and I did do some additional embellishing on that and added some bling on that on both sides of that. And then on this side, got some more of the silver foil and collaging and some modeling paste, kind of to give it a more vintage distressed look, and this is on some authentic ledger page. I've got a fold out there that holds some ephemera and another vintage postcard. And then on this side here, I created a little bundle here, and for lack of a better word, it's tied together with some twine. I've got a tag that I added a button onto and some vintage ephemera and a vintage, that is from an opera, and I'm not sure what language it is. Oh, it is. It's French. Okay, so that is from a French opera, so that's that. And this beautiful tag. Oh, I love that. And of course, another tab right there. Love that. And so that all fits in this little belly band here, and I think that those colors just add so much to the journal. And so that goes right back in there. And then there's some writing space. And this, as you can see, is very, let me hold it up to the camera. You can see through it. This is a napkin that I added onto this I think this is yes, this is a vintage dictionary page. And I just like that little pop of purple. I think it adds a lot to the page, but it's still neutral, and that's what I really like about it. And then this is the center of the second signature, and I created a little, I don't know what you want to call it, but I don't know what you want to call it. We've got some writing space here. It's kind of a booklet I created. This is hinged together, and this is a vintage book page. And I took 2 pages together, and I created a pocket on the side there, if you can see right along there. And I created a large tag with another tab. Beautiful image from Leila. And I did do a little bit of layering with a paper bag and kind of distress the edges, and some writing on the back side of that. So that fits right in there. And then just did some collaging on the center here and added these beautiful gray tassels. I think the purple and the gray and the silver was kind of the color scheme for the whole thing, and I absolutely love how it came together. And of course with the black and white accents too. And I will put a link as to where I got these beautiful images in the description box. And like I said, I did some layering there. And then there is the other side. That's where it's hinged. Got some writing space here, and another beautiful what you want to call it. I lost my train of thought. A tag with some writing space, and that was in there upside down. So let me put that back in there right side up, like so. And then there's dictionary page, and I just added some hole reinforcements and some sparkly tulle. These were actually on the page. And then there's some modeling paste just to give it more of an aged look. And then some writing space, stenciling, some silver foil. And then on this side, just another little embellished binder clip there. And this holds what I am calling this is a tiered scrap paper tag. And what it is a bunch of papers that I used in the journal. This top one is from Leila. I absolutely love that. And I knew I wanted that to be the focus of this particular tag. And I did a wax seal up there and added a little bit of embellishment along the top there. And so these are just offcuts and some pages from what I used in the journal. So that is all clipped onto that page there. Put that back together. And then some lace along the side there, a little bit of collaging. And on this side, I created a little tuck at the top. And what this is, well, let me tell you, this is I know you know what this is. This is a vintage postcard, and I love the lavenders and the beautiful green. It goes so well. But what this is right here is a get well card, and it's probably from the 50s or the 60s, and it's this plastic, and I just thought, how cute is that, number one? And it has a little fold out right there. And the reason I included it is because it has a little bit of purple right there. And of course, I just, had to add everything I could that I had that I could find that has purple in it. And another tab at the top with some beautiful wedding trim. And then on this side, there is another large piece of authentic ephemera that just goes over the top of that page that has some writing on it. And then on the side here, there is a pocket I created with some more of the beautiful digitals from Leila. And I don't know if you can see it. I did do some silver, what do you call this stuff? Let me see here. I forgot what this is called. Stickles. How could I forget stickles? I did some stickles on that. And I did do another little side border there, and that's the same fabric that is on the cover there. And this is a wraparound tag. That's what I like to call it. I wrapped around this beautiful sari trim, and it holds some vintage ephemera on one side, and then on the back side there is a tuck, and I added some more vintage ephemera. Here is a large bookmark and those beautiful photographs. So those fit right back in there. And there is the back side, just a little bit of modeling paste just to add a little bit extra on that back page. And then there is the other side of that doily. And I think it looks great, not exactly centered, because it still frames that signature. So let me move all of this over. I want to keep everything together. So far as the ephemera and everything that goes with that particular journal. So let me move that over. And then we are going to go in Layla. Now, like I said, the dimensions are the same, and a lot of the ephemera is still the same in the way I decorated it, but there's still some differences here. So I'm going to go a little bit quicker through this one, because you guys got a lot of the details on the other journal. So take that apart. Let's take off the topper here, but I will show you the tags that are underneath because they are different than the other one. I've got another postcard and another collaged large journaling tag on that. The cover is exactly the same as the other one, as Lily. So is the interior. And on this one, this is what I'm calling a wallpaper signature border. I created a border that frames or encloses the first signature. And what I did was I took some wallpaper and I backed it with some cardstock. I love that. And then I tied it with some twine, and you'll see that it's connected to the other side on the end of the back of the first signature. So that's what that is. Another snippet roll here. Beautiful image from Leila. And some more stickles. You can barely see them, but when you see the journal in real life, you'll be able to see them. And one thing I forgot to mention on the other journal, but it is the same on both journals, is I did take some silver paint and I went around some of the edges of the pages, and I really like that effect of some added silver on that. And we've got a belly band across the center here, and two more large tags. And this is actually a double, so you can add something underneath right along here too. Got some vintage checks on that, and there is the same ephemera holder. Holds a little card right there with another tab. I was really into the tabs, you guys. And some more vintage ephemera on that. And that is from my wallpaper book. No, excuse me, not my wallpaper book. One of my stencil books. Isn't that image just to die for? Love it, love it. So like I said, the ephemera and some of the additions are going to be different. And so on this side, I've got a fold up right here. And here is another one of the large cards that I created with that sparkly tulle and that gorgeous bit of ephemera just tucked right behind there. Beautiful image from Leila, some writing space right there, and a postcard with, yes, another tab. I'm really into the tabs. And another, what do you want to call this? Bead dangle. And that fits right along there on that fold up. That is some vintage ledger there. There is another one of the tabs and a little bit of collaging on that one. And this is at the center of the first signature, and I created a belly band across the center of that beautiful digital. I did not want to cover up either of these two gorgeous images, and I created just a little card there. And look at that. That is from a vintage ledger, and I just, the handwriting is just so fabulous. And I've got some silk at the top there on that, and this is the center of the first signature. Now this is the same digital that I used to create the tag in the first journal, and this is just I printed it a little larger. This is from the Graphics Fairy. I created a little corner pocket right there, and that is some wallpaper that I have, and this beautiful ribbon is what's used on the cover. Got some vintage ephemera there, and a couple tags that I created, and another one of those letters that's really, really small. Dear, I could see that that's Mr. and Mrs., but I don't know. I don't know how anybody can read that small, but you know, I don't know. And then here's the other side with the belly band and some more ephemera and a wallpaper tag there with another tab. Aren't tabs fun? Mm-hmm. Okay, here is the other side of that vintage ledger. Created a fold up. This is another napkin and the black and white fabric there that I did just do a little, you know, side embellishment. I love that. And here is another one of my embellished file folders. And there is the silver foil, and this image is from the Graphics Fairy. I love that, love it. And I've got a vintage postcard, and this is from a instructional booklet that I have, and they were learning how to draw things basically, and this is the tracing paper in that, and the images and the coloring went so well with this journal, I just had to use it. So that fits right in there. And then there is some more of that napkin that's added onto that beautiful ledger page. Got some writing space there. Beautiful image from Leila. Here's another one of the hinged wallpaper books. As in the first journal, I'm not going to open this one up. But I've got another tab created right along the bottom with a Victorian calling card. And look at that beautiful image. Oh, and added some fabric on the side there. And that folds up like that. And then here is another one of the French catalog pages. And here is another one of the vellum tags that my friend created for me, and I added some purple applique on the bottom of that one just to bring the coloring together. And then I've got an upper pocket right there, same fabric as on the cover, and I created a tag, and I added another vintage postcard. That goes on that side. Beautiful image from Leila. There is some modeling paste on that one. And here is the back of the wallpaper signature border. And then on this side, I did add a little belly band that holds a plain card and another Victorian calling card. So that's the end of the first signature. Now I knew, this is the second signature, I knew I had to include this beautiful hanky that I got at a thrift store. I don't know how many years ago, but one of the things that I've always said to you guys is if you love something and it's not, you know, really expensive and you find it at a thrift store, even if you don't have an idea in mind as to when you're going to use it or with what, get it, because it won't be there ever again. And that's one of the things that I love about this is I got this so long ago. And how perfect is that for this journal? Love it. I just love it. So that is on the exterior of the second signature, along with this. Now this is a voided check from France, and I backed it onto some wallpaper and created a little tab right there and added this beautiful, beautiful fabric embellishment on that. I love the sequins. And so this is the second signature. That's from Layla, and I did do a little bit of collaging on the center and created a fold down on this side. And we've got a silver bracket up there. And here is another one of those library index cards, and that fits right in there. And then there is one of the vintage book pages that we added a tab on in my tutorial. So that fits perfectly right along the side there. And then on this side is one of my embellished little paper clips there, and it holds some more vintage ephemera and a fold out here that has a lot of ephemera and another one of the Dear Audrey autograph pages. So those are really fun to read. They are really just hilarious. And so that fits all back in there. Got some writing space, and here is a little fold up of some sheer fabric. I just love the silver, sequins, the glitter that's on that. It's just so pretty. Let's see, beautiful image from the kit. And then there is another page from my stencil book. And then on this side, there is a little fold out right here that holds a postcard. And this is another one of those greeting cards from the 50s or 60s. It's another Get Well card. And how perfect is that purple? Oh, yay, yay, love that. Here is another one of my easiest envelopes ever. And I've got another one of those embellished tags on the interior. And this side pocket is made from Wallpaper. And yes, another tab. Look how cute that is. Oh my God. Oh, and let me show you. Isn't that page pretty? This is from the Graphics Fairy also. I love how that just adds so much color, and it just brings the whole page together. And I did do some modeling paste on that one also, that page. So that all fits back in there. This is the center. I reinforced the center with an additional piece of scrapbook paper there just to make sure it was secure. So we've got writing space on both sides. Oh, the other side of that gorgeous, gorgeous image from the Graphics Fairy. And on this side here, here's another one of the wrapped tags that has another, bookmark and some more photographs and some more ephemera on that. And it has a vintage postcard on the back of that. And then, let me put this back together. On the other side there, it holds some more ephemera on the interior of that. This is from a wedding album. So all that fits back in there along with that piece of vintage ephemera. And then on this side, here is another pocket like the other journal, and added some beautiful, I gotta take a breath here. Some ribbon, some sari ribbon in that beautiful purple. And here's one of the tags that we created together with the tabs on the side. Got some journaling space on the back. And here is another one of the collaged envelopes with a letter on the interior of that. So all that fits back in there, like so. And then on this side, there is that little bit of the gray tassel and another tag along the side and another vintage letter. And then that beautiful writing space and a little bit of collaging on this side. And then on this, here is an embellished binder clip that I added a little tab on that, along with some eyelash trim and some lace and some cute little buttons. And what that holds is a small piece of ephemera from, I think this is a reprint from a catalog, and I just love those chairs. So those look fabulous there. And this is just a little tab that I was creating, and I added a hinge, and I just thought it looked so cute on the exterior of the page, like so. And then if you have a fold out right there, and another large bit of vintage ephemera there that I did do a little bit of collaging on that. So all that fits right back in there. Let me clip this back together. So, and then on this side, this goes over here. Remember that. And here is another one of those tiered tags. I just love that. Oh, they're so fun. And that beautiful image is from Leila also. I love the frame on that. Oh, that looks so good. So that's tucked in there. There's another wax seal and that bit of ephemera right there with some more tabs. And then on the back side here is some crinkle ribbon that I sewed along the side. Beautiful page from Leila. And there is a little bit of collaging on that. And then, yes, here is the cutest baby again, and another one of the embellished paper clips with the tulle and another button and a little bit of ephemera clipped behind that. And then here is the other side of that hanky. And I folded it over because it was too large to wrap around exactly the way I wanted on my signature. So I just folded it over and added a large safety pin there with a little bit of sparkly fabric. And then on this side, I added some beads to the safety pin. So there they are, you guys, my 2 journals that I've been working on for the past month. There they are, and I will put those back together exactly the way they were. And so thank you for sticking with me, watching the flip through of both of these. I absolutely love how they came out. And if you're interested, they will be available in my Etsy shop on Sunday, August 3rd at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So thanks again for watching. I appreciate all of you so much. You don't even know how much I appreciate you. And I will see you soon in my next video. So have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye.